So thank you for your time, and I hope next 5 hours would be good to spend together. No, not that much. So I try to put it in the slides as a demand of the time. Otherwise, it's my baby, I can keep talking. So it just all came out, the flyer said cracking the multi-trillion-dollar paradox, innovation paradox. What does simply means is a catch to get your attention. But yeah, we'll walk through that. We all have seen, that's a good idea. We all have seen this situation either as an employer or as an employee, that the resume looks good, interview goes well, we check the background, perfect, we are all excited, and then we hire somebody. And we are all excited that this department is gonna do better, so much positivity. And the person is all excited too. So there is nothing lacking. We all have felt that. A few months pass, and then we wonder, something is off. We are not able to see what we were expecting. Decisions are a little bit slower than we expected. Follow through is taking time, it's draining. The communications, a lot of tools and everything and processes and plans is still more confusing than in the reality. And then outcomes slips. The person hasn't changed, the skills haven't changed, the drive hasn't changed, the company is not bad. Now what is happening? Or when as an employee or a business owner or any place that we work, we often feel, if I talk to any of my friends above 40, they'll tell, I gave my so many years to this company, it's doing good, but what's for me? And that missing piece was me, who took me from a teacher to a research scientist, to an entrepreneur, to a social entrepreneur, standing in front of you, because the one question never went off: what is the missing piece? And then I go through all kinds of management training, all kinds of technical training, behavioral training, workshops, you get the MBA, everything is fancy, and the answer is not coming. I'll stay, that's a surprise thing. So, so these inconsistencies will happen because I'm not a professional presenter, I'm professional what I did, right? So when we see something is missing, what we do as a good employer or good employee? More training, more help, more check-in, more support. Things may move a little bit, but not quite as much. And then we say, what is happening? What we are not doing perfect? And a lot of time, we don't have the words for what we are missing. We have a Deputy Consul General, please come in. And what is missing is what we are seeing, and that is where our question comes, is what we are not seeing. What we are seeing is we are seeing the turnover, we are seeing disengagement, the delay, the rework, the burnout. What we are missing that we are not seeing is that's where Varna CQ comes into the picture, and that is decisions are mismatched. Roles are misaligned. Misaligned with what? We'll get to that answers. A lot of energy goes into Okay, put more process, put more tools. We have the most tools. Do we agree that we have the most tools than any time in the history? There's no scarcity of whatever you say is there. Human friction, all of that. And in all of that, we put the AI into the mix and we are very excited. And then I have facilitated with a very, very large Fortune 100 type of companies, AI adoption situations. You know what I hear? Confusion, messy reporting. We don't know who is doing what. Who are we evaluating, the AI or the person or the team? We don't know any of that. So AI speeds up things, good. It does not align things. It magnifies your speed, it also magnifies the misalignment. And that's where we come to the picture, that's where sits Varna CQ between the lines of what we see and what we don't, and how do we fix it. Okay. So, as I said, what we fail to see is human operating system. Fancy word for understanding an individual, how they are naturally designed to think, to process, to make a decision, and execute. A lot of psychological frameworks have discussed a lot of different ways, but nothing comes close to what do I do with that information? Okay, you told me that, okay, this is how the neuroscientists will tell you all the fancy things, but what do I do with it? And that's a missing piece. It's not written in the resume. You cannot check it in the interview processes, any of the assessment, because all assessments out there look from outside in. How much you know, how you behave, how you respond to certain things, how you behave under pressure. Nothing goes from inside out, and that's why we fail to see what we want to see. So that's where there is a very deep science I found in Sanatan scriptures. And I was so saddened why I didn't know that much earlier. Because scientifically it's so accurate, however many times I tried, it never fails me. And here's a simple thing. To get actually almost anything done in any profession is you need a design, you need an execution, and you need to deliver, to confirm. Please come. So these designs, drive, and stability, something has to think through, plan it, and design it, something has to execute it, and something has to stabilize it and deliver it, right? In Sanatan, it's called Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. Okay? Excuse me. So now, how everything requires Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas, every individual have these categories. These are categories of Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas qualities. It's not a thing. It's the whole rainbow category that we are looking at. So each of us have all the three qualities. The question is not then what? The question is in what proportion what we have. So just like we have a thumbprint that is unique to us, our imprint, our way, our energy, our execution is very unique to ourselves. And that's what makes what characteristic is dominant in us versus what is there much in lot less quantity. So now, if you look at the profile A, B, C, is the individuals, when you look at the profiles of the work, there would be the similar type of thing, that certain work requires profile A type, B type, C types. This could be n numbers. I just took A, B, C just to make a point. So how do you measure it is what we have created, Varna CQ assessment. CQ stands for consciousness quotient. And I cannot tell you, it's like I am not a word gambler. It just spoke to me, I used the name. Varna is simply means hue, the color, the shade that we have. And that color, that shade is ours for the whole phase of our life, to a point that we can measure it. And that assessment has the whole program that we will be going through. You don't worry about, I have all the QR codes that you can take it afterwards, and there's enough information. Just soak in with me a little bit so that we can have the dialogue afterwards to, understand what we are. It's such a new framework that a lot of things will be why that and how that will come to you. So when we do the map, we call it Varna map. That goes through the assessment and gives our blueprint of our map, where we stand. It's a very small piece of the whole report that we get. Okay. So that kind of gives us, what is our natural makeup. So for example, it's one of the many examples. It's some like what we had done, that I've just taken the same example, that somebody is a sattva dominant person here, which simply means this person has clarity, not that others don't, but this is the dominant characteristic. Insight, harmony. His biggest strength is thoughtful decision making. He can plan, he can have a patience, he can just go through the every steps to plan everything. Risk. If you have too much thinking, guess what happens? Then you need somebody to execute it, right? So then the over analysis could be negative. So almost anything then in excess is not good. So now what happens is, we put this person who was looking absolutely fantastic on paper, had a greatest interview, and we were all amazed by his genius, knowledge, execution, understanding, everything. But under pressure, we are taking a person who will not take a quick decision. He keeps on analyzing. And when you force a person like that to take a quick decision, what happens? Friction, energy leak, forced action. And that's what we see. So now, you will say, okay, now I know my maps, then what? So awareness alone will not bring us the solution. We have a whole program around it. And that has been repeated enough times to say with the confidence that this thing really works. So what we do is, the very first step is self-awareness, or what we call Varna map. That kind of maps how that stuff gives the baseline of the person, the insight into how the person is naturally designed to think, process, and execute. Then the next step is, we profile what the job is the person is doing or would be doing, or a student going to what they are thinking. We profile that, and that's another step. And then we will go through those steps. And then there is a whole guidance, and then we measure it at the end, what happened, what changed. So this is how it happens. So we go through the CQ1, don't even try to read it, it will make no sense. It's just saying that we have such an elaborate report that spells out, just several pages long. It gives every piece of where you are and where is the gap in many granular format that you will understand what is missing. Now the frustration is, okay, now I found out what's missing, now what do I do? Then we take the context layer of the job. Whatever position, whatever role, whatever function this person is required to take, we profile that, like how we had talked about right in the beginning. Every work requires sattva, rajas, and tamas. And that's again, don't worry about the nomenclature. You need to plan, execute, stabilize. We need that in everything, right? So we map the job that person has to do, which has a lot of different variables like team size, operational pressures, what is the role type, decision velocity requiring. So all of that is taken into consideration. And then we go into, okay, so this is the demand of the role, and that like a whole definition of, in this case, we have taken example of department head of a delivery approval team, a 20 people team, time sensitive outputs and cross team coordination, high accountability. So this is a demand profile, and now we are matching the person's profile to head that, to hold this position. If it is sounding too much, it is. So have patience, I will take it. I have been a teacher as well, so I'll make sure you get it. So then we go, okay, now we know the profile of a person or persons with the same backgrounds, education, experience, all of things that we are looking, all the resumes that you are looking, or the team that you already have in place. And then we see what is the requirement of the position, what is the natural pattern of the person, and how much is the gap. We don't want high gap. We have high gap means what? All the problems that we talked about in the very beginning. So now what we do is, when we match it, we have a clear picture of, in different dimensions, how much is the gap, where is the gap, and what needs to happen to bridge that gap, right? So this is, then once we have done the alignment exercise, we put this person into a weekly, very simple email suggestion. So simple that you'll say, that's it. And we see the changes, because it's not that you have to overhaul everything. You just have to do the right thing, right? So we take it like a weekly, a small sample I will share with you. And then we have our execution focus, decision practice focus, and reflection points. And those small nudges with the small changes in, we are not saying change the job, change the company, change the person, hire or fire or everything. We are, because we are aware where is the mess, we go through. And we will take the example of the same sattva dominant person in a high speed situation. What do you do? So this is one example of a weekly inbox. You get, okay, this week's focus is decision theme constraint. Suggestion, very small, maximum 48 hours window, don't worry about the whole life. 48 hours window, 2 days that we are looking at. Take these option A, B, C, select one, and just do it. You are doing nothing, no recording, no nothing. You're just following those instructions. What we are tracking is tracking means not in every day, okay? We will track it at the end of it. So percentage decision made within 48 hours, reduction in rework, number of delegated decisions. This sample does not mean it applies to every person in every situation in every which way. This is a sample that you small nudges every week, how that changes things. Excuse me. So we have a starting point. After 12 weeks, I like 8 to 12 weeks we say, but give and take 8 to 12 weeks. When we remeasure, we are able to see a measurable difference in the output of the person, reduction of the frictions, much more relaxed, much more ease than we started with. So basically what we are looking at is an aligned team. When they are doing work, the productivity and the team environment brings a lot better results than when there is a misaligned team, things are not getting done. What we do, hire more, get more tools, train more, send them for this workshop. And that only adds up the cost, complexity, and more that goes with it. So we have seen easily 30 to 50% reduction in rework and design delay. So reassessment after 3 months will show how much we have moved, how much we have reduced in delays and reworks, and we are able to move that. You don't have to stop at 3. We can do another 3 months the same thing and keep on helping when you need. But 3 months is what we are set right now. So that comes to you all. Would you like, be very honest, something that helps you figure you out to even at least test it for yourself or for your team? No one? That is sad. Okay, it's only $10,000. For today's guest, if that gives you any interest, I invite you to take this whole process complimentary for today's guest. This is what you will get once you get to the site, and then you will curse Poonam, so don't do that. You will get the assessment, 1 second, Pam. You will get the assessment, the first one, and then it will say, pay, otherwise you don't move. No, you send a note, or there is a sign-up sheet, we send you a token to work with. You don't send, you do it yourself, it will ask, okay, pay and then move. And you can pay and move, no problem. I like it. So that's what it is. Either sign up, or there is an email somewhere there or there. The email is very simple, support@varnacq.com. Send a note, hey, I would like to take advantage. All right, so that's all from my side, and I open the floor for the questions. If I bored you, that's good.
So this is for the individual to get themselves. Basically trying to do a matching, right? People have some skills, some interest, some predictions, whatever it is. And the jobs have certain set of requirements, right? Okay, basically we can try to do a matching. So the best person does the best job. That's the expectation. Behind all that, if I understand correctly, at least my realization, which is forward, is that humans act and react on assumptions. the whole world that you see is based on our assumptions. Right? So for doing anything of this assessment, like apply for a job, hire somebody, we are making a set of assumptions. But unfortunately, those assumptions seems to be not validated. They remain a mind and indicator of actions.
Okay, my apologies for interrupt you. I am not understanding the question of your assumption. One thing I understood, let me just repeat so I know where I'm losing. Do we have second mic?
That's okay.
No. So the only thing I'm understanding is that if you are saying if I have a team of however many people, how do we align those people rather than one person? That's the question number one, right?
That's true.
Okay.
But what I'm trying to say is maybe something beyond that. Forming a team, hiring somebody, is also you making certain set of assumptions. Is there a way to document those assumptions that this is what you expect out of it? So people can just simply want to hire somebody. Have we got all the specs that we need, all the requirements that we have correctly documented and internally challenge for them?
Okay, let me rephrase that so that I'm clear about the question. So you are saying you want to hire somebody, but you are making assumptions who you want to hire. Sir, I have ran humbly a company for 26 years. I don't pay anybody anything unless my job description is very clear what I want this person to do, what contribution this person has to make in that position. What is the input, what is the output, whether it's a sales job, HR job, operations job, whatever has to be, there is some job requirement. So we go from there. So I am here not teaching how to write your job description. Well, you can, we can definitely do that, but that's not what we are looking at. We are going from, you have the job description. You already know what you want. We take you from there to hiring the right person or your team already in place, how to improve that team. Okay?
Well, I think we'll take it offline, but
Sure.
I was trying to derive the fact that we go for these actions without fully understanding the assumptions behind our actions, assumptions behind designing a
So you are saying all the assumptions that I have created in making the assessment?
No, I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is if there was, what I just said, the specs are correct, the person will hire, there will be no misalignment, right? What we're feeling today in this world, what we see today, is that the set of assumption that we took certain actions, they didn't pan out, they didn't work out, right? And when you think about doing something, is to learn from the failures. Why?
Okay, got it. Hold on. So how many people we have spent 20, 30, 40 years of our life? I'm not dating myself, I'm only 25. But to realize that this is not what we like, or this is not how I operate, right? I cut that process down to 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. That's all the differences. So that's the bet you are taking. You're saying something.
So I'm not sure, to your point, today what organizations will do on the front end with it, but I absolutely know how they can use this in their current seated roles. Since I deal mostly with leaders, directors, all the way up to the CEOs, there's so many assessments that, based on how people are feeling in that moment, talk about their behavior. And then it gives them percentages on how they're behaving at that moment when they took that assessment. Briggs Meyer, we can name them, right? But when you have talking about alignment, from yourself as a leader, and you put it in a proportion in terms of how you make decisions, you're quantifying it very practically. Okay, in high pressure moments, which is typically how they always work, and you simplified it. So they could sit there and say, okay, in my business environment today, and 3 months is perfect, this is what I am dealing with and I need to get a handle on. And then you do it with the full team. And it doesn't matter if it's a level of dysfunction that occurs, it's discovery. And then they have the awareness in terms of what they need to do both individually and as a team. I see this piece moving the internal confusion and gaps that exist right now in large organizations. Not sure on the front end what it's going to do, but I absolutely tell you it's a solution on the front.
Thank you, Pam. So one of the things Pam said is, when you take assessment, you are in certain mood and you respond certain ways, right? You go in certain moods to your dentist or eye doctor or your heart surgeon, then he doesn't care about your mood. They have the tools to measure what they have to measure. So when there is a diagnostic tool, it has already crossed that threshold. I had my son who was 2 years old. I felt that he is having hard time with the eyes, and obviously he didn't know his alphabets. Obviously he had a very limited vocabulary, and I was like, how are they going to test it? Yeah, surprise, they do test it. Yes, sir.
Forgive me. I think this is a great framework to understand the current moment in terms of where are we now? Individuals are patterns. Individuals are being challenged by those patterns, by the very tools that you mentioned we have more than ever in history, right?
Yeah.
And those tools are not challenging just the company or the organization. They're challenging the individual's sense of place, worth, role, authority, empowerment, and potential to grow. And I think all of those things are being challenged in unison. And what I'm worried about, though, is that when we conduct assessment, at a starting point, 30 days later, we have a set of recommendations. You have, and I took a picture of the emails, the little nudges, the little recommendations. If I understand you correctly, those recommendations are to get you from one modality of how you work to an optimized modality that is consistent with what the organization wishes for you to do in your role. But I'm concerned that in your role itself is under tremendous change. So, for example, in my industry in technology, customer service or technical support at the top of their game are feeling threatened that their very existence may not be as necessary in the quantity of team members because many of their solutions to problems become knowledge bases or are automated. An example in PC land is digital experience assessment. Mm-hmm. So if there's a software tool like NextThink that automates how an end user resolves their problem, the 15 or 20 people in tech support may not be needed. Maybe it's 3, maybe it's 4. So where I'm going with this is that we are seeing a historic transformation and threat. And employees who may be told, you will be better in 90 days, sign on to this program. No, you will be. But you may be one of those that at the end we won't need. And I think that there has to be an honesty organizationally about what we mean about taking the inner nature of an employee and aligning to those goals. And are we mapping that the individual grows, or are we mapping that the individual may need to change even more than what this construct, this program offers?
Pat, I love you for asking this question. That will open up a whole new dimension. Let me just take it back a little bit. When I was researching for the book, I was looking around the world, the great works that was done when there was so-called no internet, so-called no AI apps to do, hey Siri, kind of thing. By the way, that irritates me so much. You talk to Siri, the Google will say something, and that's a different thing. And then I see we are struggling with the 4-year election cycle and the decisions made, and these people are making the temples that each one took, what, 100 years to make? It's like one at a time. Like if you look at the rates, like This kingdom ruled for 1200 years, 1500 years. You wondered how. We are struggling for 4 years and we say, okay, this is not my favorite team, so I want the 4 years to go and then change it. When there is a stability, when people are satisfied, when we are giving each individual an ecosystem, that person himself or herself knows what best they can bring to the world. Now let's go to the fast forward several thousand years. We were little kids and something monstrous came up. Everybody was around the world saying this computer is going to take everybody's job. It didn't happen. Satnender is smiling and said, yeah, come on, wait till agentic AI, when they are going to tell you, Poonam, do this. Right? The thing is, my hope and desire is when we have each cell, whether it's a neuron or cartilage or whatever, each cell do the best job that cell can do, that human can do, and provide the ecosystem to thrive the best. That cell knows what is best they can bring to the world, rather than the fear of this thing is gonna take my job. Yes, that thing is gonna take your job. What job? The repetitive job. What jobs that you don't need? You don't need to go wash your clothes every day. There is some monster called the washing machine. You run once a week, right? So all the washerman job is gone. Oh yeah, right. But then there are other jobs that opened up. Who opened up those jobs? The people did. So when we have enough people whose brain does not, like the 5 o'clock alarm, run to this and run to that and run to that, have liberty to breathe, think, act, create, progress, we will have many more Elon Musk. Not everybody likes him, but that's the point is, you are giving the luxury of thinking rather than the very old times. You go in the morning, fetch the water, worry about the food for the day, and that's your life. We don't live that life. We will not live the life of AI is taking the job. Yes, in the short term, absolutely. And that's why we have the social systems. We have our neighbors helping each other. We are the people who can say, okay, fine, for today we'll do this and let's figure it out. So that's how I see the world.
Thank you.
I don't know if it was too philosophical.
No,
You did.
not at all. I think this is a part of a much broader discussion.
Absolutely.
Many different aspects of this.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Your analysis
Ji,
and studies,
ji.
what percentage you find the people are not rightly placed? They don't have the right job, from either from the employee side or the employer side. How much here?
So I have not done a study on what percentage, but from my experience, I would say 100%. Why I say 100%, the ones who don't, they start their own business and mess their own shelf. So most of us, if we are very honest with ourselves, how the day goes, are we satisfied? Are we dying to change certain things in our lives? Aren't we glad, damn, I retired from this job and I am never going to look back after spending 40 years? How many people have we have seen that? Except Dr. Tata. He still loves his job. So I have not done the study, but I would say majority of us in today's world.
You have a big market, do the work. Lot of challenges, lot of work to do.
You know what? Let me say this. When everybody was saying that it's a good time, it's a right time, honest to God, I did not start to write a book. I did not start to make this framework. I was trying to find this one. That's all there was. And when I found that one, I was too excited. Hey, guys, I found the gold. Hey, come see, take it. It happened to come in the time when there is the most need. It happened to come in the time that is helping more people. I never worked to make it, this is a big market, let's do the focus group, we'll make a lot of money. I am already making enough money to enjoy my life. Who cares? But gives me such a thorough satisfaction. So, yeah.
Maybe you can help a lot of people.
Absolutely.